Yeah.
All right, so we're just gonna wander around here. If you look at on the ground, those are macadamia nuts that have been put there for the last 45 years because my trees, you know, they're 40 years old, they're 40 feet tall, they're at my shop where you've been before. And but this is where I've always put them for 40 years, and they don't take decay real fast. It's like walking on marbles. This is that I was telling you that I planted this tree here, but I eat the fruit over there.
Wow.
So I picked the fruit like it was the blackberries because they're down low, and all the structure here just goes that way. And I picked that because there was sun back there and there was no sun here. So that's what the cubic gardening type of thing approach is. So we got a little bit of sun in here, and we're putting our finger limes in this area because they kind of understory. They need sun and they want to be under things at the same time. Here, this is just starting to come out. These are rose apples. It's that fruit that tastes like roses smell, is what it is. Nice fruit. Nice fruit. They're hollow like a bell pepper with this big seed in it. You can see here's finger limes here. In fact, here's some fruit on one right here. Those are kind of small, but here's like a larger one, different variety. We got like 23 different kinds here. So, going into
Which is, I think, something some people do find surprising. I did when I first started, is you go, oh, there's more than one variety of this? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Well, the guys who plant seeds, if you go plant 100 seeds, there's DNA that you may not have, and that's how we find the new stuff. So everybody planted seeds, and we'd have some crummy fruit like nilly-pilly. We'd all of a sudden get a really great nilly-pilly if everybody was planting those. So, you know, we got, you know, like nonas here. We got probably 30 different nonas here, and we're planting seeds. I don't think I'll be around when some of those come to fruition, but there's varieties there that will be new because there's a lot of self-pollination here going, and a lot of mixture. Anyway, this is kind of a cool plant. Let's see if there's any fruit on it. It's a Australian beach cherry. Has red fruit that I've been eating, and looks like there's, that's why we're looking at this when there's no fruit. not very good.
Sometimes there's one hiding, you never know.
Yeah, I didn't see anything there. They're really bright red. Oh, here's some Carfianca pomegranates.
Those look like, what, probably in October, yeah? Or
well, I see something on the ground, so I hope they don't rot out before then, but this is really good fruit. There's for pomegranates. You can see this, this is a navel orange, but you can see we put finger limes on it. We put some tangelos on it. We put some blood oranges on it, and just this one branch because it had a pomelo on this, and this pomelo was just trash. But hey, when you look, sometimes you get wood on the side of the road. Somebody has a pomelo and you don't know anything about it. You get a piece of it and you graft it onto your tree. You know, so.
There you go.
Here's a black sapote right here.
Ooh.
Right there, looks like a bug is trying to get in. There's a couple of them. Great, weird fruit.
When will those be ready?
Theoretically, that's getting close. When this is starting to rise up here, this pinnacle, I think you call it, that would probably be, that's probably ripe. Now you take it and sit on your counter for 2 weeks until you could mold it around in your hand like it was silly putty, and then you could eat it. Weird.
I've never actually tasted that fruit. I've just always heard that it's amazing.
Well, I ran it this way. Rare fruit growers told me it either tastes like axle grease or chocolate.
Okay.
Mine is a mild chocolate, but it ain't axle grease, but it looks like axle grease. So that's just how it goes.
Fair enough.
This is this used to be a kiwi arbor here, this whole area. And this is the last of the kiwis, this is an arguta. Arguta are the fuzzless ones that are like grapes. You just throw the whole thing in your mouth. But unfortunately, you got to have males and females, and I don't think there's a male in here anymore. So
no fruit.
We used to get 200, 300 fruit in here.
Wow.
And we would run misters in here. There's mister line here that would cool things down. But kiwis won't do good here now anymore because there's no sun. Kiwis grow in Fresno where there's a lot of heat. So we're just moving along down this way. Underneath mulberries here. And those are ricotta black-seeded peppers. A nice pepper. A lot of people will try to eat it here and their nose will start running, and then it's kind of embarrassing, so I don't let people eat them. But we got mangoes, not mangoes, but guavas here on this side. This is kind of interesting tree. I bought a seedling, and this tree grew up, and it gives a fruit that has no seed. It has a hole in the middle of it. Pretty big. They're kind of blocky style. No two will look the same. But and it's a sweet, but it's all meat. You know, there's a lot of meat, and it's not like a seed ball in the middle of it. So but it came from a seeded seed. So that's kind of rare.
And so you just planted it, and then that's what you got?
Actually, in the beginning, I got two different fruits on this. I got that blocky one I just described, and I get this round one that had maybe 20 seeds in it. And so besides all these plants are all guavas, and I think I had some cross-pollination going here, and that's why we had that other variety on there. So it was kind of like, I planted those out just to see what would come, and probably lost them, forgot where they were. Over here in this area is all the anonas. If you look in there, you can start seeing fruit up in here. We spent about 30 days or longer pollinating twice a day, and that's how you get the fruit.
So you spent a month out here pollinating them twice a day, to get this fruit you have here now.
Yeah, but last year I heard everybody telling me, oh, I got a tree that I don't have to pollinate. Okay, so 1 year, which is 2 years ago, I didn't pollinate anything. Got about 10% of what I should get. And so you hear the stories, you can follow them and see if they are. Some varieties will always give you some fruit, but they're not going to give you as much fruit unless you pollinate them. You're looking at a branch like this, it's got all kinds of fruit like that. Well, you're not going to get branches that look like that if you don't help it along. So anyway, then we got this guy here, which is your white sapote. You can see some up here. You can see some here. This is Subal. Subal has the distinction of flowering year-round, because if you look and see the size of this fruit, and then you see here's flowering with little tiny fruit on it, all at the same time. So the fruit in the winter is usually a little smaller. These will be probably about the size of a pretty fat peach, so, but they're like sweet. These are like super sweet. They'll have seeds in them. One is enough to eat. They're sweet. You don't need to have two.
The sweet tooth subsides after one?
Yeah. Here's that. Never told you that I had another black sapote.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was huge, and I chopped him off there. You can see where he's been chopped. And I was trying to force him to think he was going to die, and he would give me fruit because he's been flowering for years.
Yeah.
Nothing. So he's on the grafting block. This is Apollo feijoas or pineapple guavas. Yeah. Now, what's interesting about this particular tree, one of these branches, and I don't know which one it is, I think it's maybe this one here or this one, these drooper ones, that gave me fruit that was, no kidding me, it was like huge. Gave me, I think, 3 of them, only on that one branch.
Really?
And so I planted all seeds to find out what the heck they were. But I'm curious to see if it does it again, or it was just a fluke. The Apollos on here are kind of stingy, but you have to keep topping them, so you're not getting fruit-bearing growth up there until next year, and then they're way up there again. So you gotta force the growth down below, in order to keep your trees small and get fruit on them there. So you're coming through a very productive cherimoya here. This is Dr. White. If I only was to have one tree, Dr. White would probably be it if I just wanted a lot of good tasting cherimoyas. So I prefer cherimoya versus atamoya. Cherimoya is like the fruit that says, he's on the counter, he says, eat me. And you say, oh, I'll eat him tomorrow. Well, you're a day late. He ain't gonna taste good tomorrow. He's gonna be there. Whereas atamoya on the counter says, eat me, or eat me in 5 days. That's okay. It doesn't really matter. And that's what, because the atamoyas are more crunchy, they're more firm, and so the time span to eat it is more forgiving. Whereas cherimoya when they say eat me, you sit down and eat it. I don't offer up the excuse like my wife does. And, well, I'm not hungry. Well, you ain't gonna get it. You're gonna have a mush pot the next day. So.
Now, for you, when you differentiate when it's time to eat that, is that based upon smell and texture of the flesh on the outside?
It's a feel. It's a color changing, because they're going to be starting to go a little bit yellowy. But on that day that you want to eat them, you're squeezing them, and you don't want to make it mushy, and you gotta then put it in the refrigerator for sure, because you want to eat them cold, and then you want to then eat them when he's that day. No other way to say it other than you got to do that.